Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. This is Jeffrey Daniel here again in Lagos, Nigeria on the 16th of May, this Saturday morning. I'm out here getting my dose of sunshine, getting my vitamin D fresh from the sun, and trying to strengthen up my immune system as we're all now locked down in this pandemic, this coronavirus has put upon us. So anyway, I'm just walking, so I just decided to talk to you guys again. You guys have been so gracious and so welcoming, and I appreciate all of your comments and responses and communications that you guys have given me, and we have gone back and forth. I don't know. I guess today I would like to say, I think everything is about perspective. Everything is about perspective, okay? From my perspective, I'm in the motherland, the richest continent on the planet. Everything we need is here. The home of my ancestors. Some of the biggest rivers and lakes in the world. The biggest sky in the world. Look at the sky. Oh my God, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. The most diverse variety of animals in the world is in Africa. I think I would say the most diverse variety of people are here. Different types of people are here, from the Twa people, which the derogatory term is pygmy. We don't say pygmy. They're the Twa people, all the way up to the Maasai people, all the way up to the Ethiopians and the Somalian. You know what they look like when you see them. All the way over here to the Congo and the West Africans, to the Nubian type. I mean, we have such a diverse variety of people on this continent. So, and then from an American or Western perspective, they might say, oh, that's just a shithole country. People over there are poor. They don't have this, they don't have that, they don't have what we have, they don't have our infrastructure, they don't have our technology, and whatever. And at the end of the day, it's all about perspective. We're all human. From my perspective, I'm a human. I see other people. People can call themselves Asians, Latins, European, Caucasian, Middle Eastern, Arab, Semitic, whatever, African, but we're all human. It's a matter of perspective in some senses. Some things are actually, justifiably categorized in some senses, but basically, it's all about perspective. So, I'm looking at what's happening in America, and they're having social distancing laws. And it's just strange to me that every time I see them, the police go into an area that's populated by people of color, you see people being wrestled to the ground and punched and beaten over violating social distancing regulations. Then when you see a whole group of Jewish people violating it, even chasing down the police, even pulling at the police, but you don't see nobody being thrown to the ground. You don't see nobody being punched and beaten repeatedly over social distancing. So now they've created a new law to help criminalize us. This is strange, because we're supposed to be pulling together, looking out for each other. And even if people are violating social distancing law, like the people in Michigan who walked right up to the doorstep of the government building, fully armed to the teeth, I didn't see no punching. I didn't see no throwing to the ground. I didn't see any arresting going on there. So what does that tell us? In order to get respect, that we should come out and be armed to the teeth and look like we're ready to blow your goddamn head off? And then we'll get respect? Look at the lesson you're teaching us. Because little do you know, there are some people who are complying to that message. They're arming themselves. They're looking at what you're doing. And they're preparing to protect themselves. I don't know what to say about America anymore. I'm lost for words. I'm really lost for words. Everyone's suffering economically, health-wise. People are losing jobs. Companies are going bankrupt, and the best you could do is come out and beat people. If this doesn't show America's true colors, they're not red, white, and blue. There's some red in there, and there's some blue in there from being beaten. Yeah, I guess there's some white in there too. Yeah, I guess it is red, white, and blue. I guess that's what those colors represent. If we're white, we can beat you till you're red and blue. Oh God, I don't know what to say anymore about America. You know, and then if you talk about us like you're inciting, you know, racial hatred, or you're inciting violence or something like that. So we're not supposed to recognize it. We're not supposed to acknowledge it. We're not supposed to try to get it out in the open to see how we can fix it. But it's beyond fixing. I'm not a person who just likes. I don't like to capitulate to defeat. You know, I don't like to say like. I don't like to say never. I don't like to say never. But looking at America, it's getting very, very close to never. You know, people, be safe. Look out for each other. Look out for your loved ones. About opening up too soon. Okay, here's my take. And I tell you, I listen to a lot of people. I study a lot. And I try to, you know, evaluate what's going on within my own intellect. With other people's intellect. I love to listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson. That guy is so knowledgeable in so many different areas, even though he's an astrophysicist. But when you bring up other subjects, if it's health, if it's virology, if it's, you know, the economy, if it's all kinds of things. This guy, I love listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson. I love listening to a lot of brothers out there. I love listening to Brother Polite. I love listening to Brother Young Pharaoh. I love listening to General Suran Seti. General Surasatan Seti, Sarasutan Seti, there you go. There's a lot of guys out there, and I'm thinking too fast, sorry. I like listening to Professor Smalls. You know, I love listening to Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark. There's a lot of these people out there that I love listening to. Brother Louis Farrakhan. Oh, you can't say that name, you say Farrakhan. Ooh. He's anti-Semitic. I mean, come on. Speaking of Farrakhan, because he's in the Nation of Islam, so then he represents Muslims. So once you represent Muslims, suddenly you're anti-Semitic. You're anti-Semitic. And it's like, this guy has not killed one Semitic person in his life. He's never advocated, let's go and kill them in his life. But because he speaks against the injustices of certain people, he's anti-Semitic. If that's the case, then we're all anti-Semitic. Everyone who stands for justice, truth, and honesty, they were all anti-Semitic. Because if any group of people who is above criticism, something's wrong. How can you be above criticism? Criticize me. Criticize the president. Criticize the church. Criticize anything. That's critical thinking. You're supposed to do that. How can any race of people set themselves apart and say, if you dare criticize us, then you're anti-Semitic? That's not making sense. Even you're not harming them. Even you're not, condoning any harm against them. You're acknowledging what they're doing that is wrong. That makes you anti-Semitic. Then I guess we're all anti-Semitic. Which is strange because I guess we're Semitic people too, in a sense. But anyway, that's another story. You guys listen. Speaking of perspective, we have a great tool, which I'm using right now to communicate with you. You know, social media, YouTube, WhatsApp, Twitter, what else you got? Instagram, all these things, right? Now, if I wanted to have a career in, with computers, like if I wanted to work in Silicon Valley, let's say at the Google or Facebook or anything like that, I would have to take some courses, wouldn't I? Because I would have to learn about, computer science, computer programming, communication, all these things that they have to do. I'm not, an expert in that field, so there's things I'm not saying. But I'm just saying, just for instance. But suddenly, we all have access to computers. We all have access to different apps that you can alter images with. We all have access to this. Did we have to take a test for any of this? Did we have to pass a course? No. So suddenly, we all have the ability to put stuff out there arbitrarily, at our whim. There are people who are doing it with ill intent. There are people who are doing it just to confuse people. There are people who are doing it for, ulterior motives. There's people doing it for political motives. There are people using it to scam people. But this is where we are. Suddenly, we're at the mercy of everyone's personal, individual perspective. Be it right, be it wrong, be it left, be it right, be it whatever it is. And this is what we're dealing with. So what can we do? At what point do you make people take responsibility for what they're doing with their PC, personal computer? I hear that now Facebook is committing to taking down posts that they feel are offensive to certain people. And there you go. Because that means that if I see something that I feel is not right, and if I were to question or criticize it, they can pull me down for voicing my opinion because a certain group of people feel offended by it, even though I'm not offending anyone and I'm not attacking anyone. So that's where it's going, you guys. They're going to have total control over everything we do, say, see. How do we get out of? How do we unwrestle ourselves into what we've gotten all of ourselves into with this society? I don't know. I don't have the answer. I ask questions. I don't come on here telling you guys what to do, what to think. Anything I say, I would like for you guys to go and research it on your own with multiple sources to verify, any certain subject that you feel might, make sense to you or might not make sense to you. So I didn't really have anything to say, but I'm out here walking and I feel good. And I just wanted to share this beautiful sunny morning with everyone. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day as well. I hope you guys are surviving this pandemic. I hope your loved ones are. I hope that they find a way to curb this. America is showing its true colors to the rest of the world. If you're a Republican and you hate me for saying this, what can I do? If you're a Democrat, I don't know. I don't have no dog in that race. I'm not here to bash Trump. I'm not here to attack anyone. But America is showing its true colors to the rest of the world. And the rest of the world is looking. And you know what? Countries like China, Russia, North Korea, all of them, they're like, these guys are dropping the ball. We're going to pick that ball up. And that's where we're at. These people are about to pick up the ball. And when they pick up the ball and roll with it, when they take the American dollar off the market, wow. A whole new world for you and me. It's not going to be beautiful either. So I don't know what to say. You know what's funny? I'm used to being in front of a camera, dancing, singing, being humorous, making people laugh and things like that. But lately, we're in a very, very serious situation, and it's time for us to think. I would like to be here to entertain. I love entertaining. I've been doing it all my life, and there's nothing more that I love the entertaining than life itself, people, nature, animals, children, food, Mexican food. So anyway, I don't know, you guys. From your perspective, what do you see? From your perspective, what does your world look like? From your perspective, I could look like some idiot. There's this idiot on social media, talking to us and giving us his point of views and sharing his, train of thought. That's your perspective, So anyway, I would just like to say, you guys, be safe, take care of yourselves. I don't know if what's going to happen with the coming elections. Will the elections happen? Will Trump stay in office? Will they allow the elections to take place? As certain states are opening up, is it going to be safe to open up? I think it's good to come outside and get sunshine and fresh air. Being crumped up in your house, that's not the answer. getting cabin fever. I'm not saying, okay, break out and let's open up everything and let's go crazy, but I'm just saying, they need to find a middle ground. Not total shutdown, but not total open. They need to find a way that you can accommodate both and still be safe, and imply certain safety hazards for people to follow by. And I think that might be the answer, rather than just one way or the other. In life, I've learned that you can't be too extreme to the left or too extreme to the right. You have to find it in the middle. The middle, kind of like, because you get some from here, you get some from there, and you put it together, and you look it over, you evaluate it, and you come up with something that makes sense. So you can't be one way or the other, As the case of Brother Ahmaud Arbery is getting ready to go, to court, and they're talking about, if the guys are responsible for his death, are they responsible for murder, or were they just being model citizens to shoot down someone in their neighborhood? Because if that happens, what message is that going to send everyone? If you see someone in your neighborhood that you don't know, and you feel something suspicious is going on, chase them down and shoot them, because you'll be doing a service to your community. The American way. God, don't you just love it? Hamburgers, hot dogs, and baseball, and basketball, and football, and shooting people. Police beating the hell out of people. My God. Do you guys know why they formed the police department? I'm sorry I have to go there, but this is what it is. The police department was formed because when they started bringing these indentured servants over to America from Africa, and you guys have to understand something, the picture of slavery isn't what you think it is. It wasn't like the slaves are just out there working and singing old Negro spirituals and just moaning and picking cotton. They were always trying to rebel against their oppressors. There are so many rebellions. Everyone knows the Nat Turner one. Everyone knows that Haiti finally defeated Napoleon's army. Everyone knows about Harriet Tubman. But in between, there are so many. There are a lot of outbreaks of going against the oppressor. So that's why they started deputizing. When you became 18 years old, they would deputize you, and they would make you a slave catcher, an overseer. That was the beginning of the American police force. And the slaves trying to sneak out of America up to Canada, and they're trying to stop them from going up there. That's the creation of the police force. As KRS-One said, overseer, 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 officer, officer. That's where it all came from, and that's what it's about. And, excuse me, in true form, that's what they're still doing. Going out and catching us. There's some on the corner. Grab them. There's some driving a car. Pull them over. Stop them. What are you doing here? Shut up. I asked the questions. Oh, you're carrying an arm? You have a license too? Wait a minute. He's reaching for his license. They're behaving the same as they did back in the slave days, the Jim Crow's days. Nothing has really changed from their point of view. From their perspective, it's really the same thing. So from our perspective, what is it? And we think we're citizens, and we're free, and we think we have equal rights, and we think we have civil rights and things like that, until they step up to the plate. People say, what are you talking about? Things have changed. They got Oprah Winfrey, she's a billionaire, and Michael Jordan's a billionaire, and P. Diddy and Jay-Z, but you guys, come on. This is new money. This is brand new money, spanking new money. It started in the 80s, okay? And you can't take a handful of people and say, okay, then it's changed for everybody now, because look, a few people fell through the cracks. No, it doesn't work that way. Let me tell you what freaked me out. When I first went to New York back in the late 70s to early 80s, I'm from Los Angeles. I grew up a little in Michigan too. But when I first went to New York with Shalimar, I remember looking at all those skyscrapers and all those buildings, like New York, Stevie Wonder, New York, skyscrapers, everything, And so Then I stopped and I thought, and I said to myself, out of this sea of buildings and skyscrapers that as far as I can see, how many belong to a black person? Just one building. Wow. Then I came back home to Los Angeles and I looked downtown. Our downtown area isn't as, expansive as the New York, Manhattan, something like that. But we've got buildings and that, and then we got the Wilshire district. There's buildings, some skyscrapers there, and Century City. So we got our little areas of, industrial commerce, whatever you call it. So then I look at those and I go, how many of these buildings belong to a black man? And that starts making you think, wow. Before I got into Shalimar, when I was a Soul Train dancer, I used to drive around Beverly Hills, just look at the beautiful homes and just to dream. I guess that's what Ahmaud Arbery was doing, because he was studying to be an electrician. So he walked into a house that was under construction and he's just looking at it and seeing what's being done. Pretty much had his hands in his pocket and he walked out. Look at the tape. That's what he did. So even the owner said, no, nothing was stolen. There's no violation here. Maybe how you doing? Good morning. Maybe he shouldn't have walked into the place, but I've done it many times. The place I'm living in now, that I've been in for over 7 years here in Lagos, I walked in there and looked in the place. I didn't. The owner wasn't there. He wasn't available. I walked around the place and looked at it, and I'm living in it. So, but I was driving through Beverly Hills, just looking at the homes, and the police pulled me over. Said, excuse me, where are you going? I'm not going anywhere. I'm just driving down the road. Oh, well, you're not supposed to be here. Really? Well, I didn't know, because I didn't see a do not enter sign. I'm sorry, sir. Oh, well, you shouldn't be driving around this neighborhood. Why should I not be driving on a public street? It happened to me in Marina Del Rey in the 70s. I was pulled over for driving in the Marina Del Rey. Then when Michael Jackson brought me back to America in late 1995, 96, I was living in the Marina Del Rey. Imagine that. So from our perspective, you can see what we're dealing with. From our perspective. And then you got your own perspective. From our perspective, Black Lives Matter. Maybe from your perspective, they don't. And then you want to go back to, well, all lives matter. Yes, all lives do matter. All lives do matter. But turn on your TV and look on the internet and you will see that all lives are not being thrown to the ground and beaten, punched in the head for violating social distancing regulations. Not robbing a bank, not stealing, not selling drugs, not toting a gun, like the people who went to the steps of the Michigan government office. You can beat somebody on the ground for social distancing? Like I said, America, I don't know what to say anymore. Am I bitching? Am I complaining? No. I'm observing. I'm acknowledging. And if we don't at least do that, how do we even begin to address the problem, to start to try and fix the problem? That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. If you don't like it, if you think it's a waste of time, and then I'm sorry I wasted your time, but shut up, dog. Sorry, it's a dog over there. So, but anyway, shut up. So, you guys just have a good day. Have a good weekend, everybody. God bless you. I hope you guys make it to the next weekend and beyond. Okay? Spread the love. Make love great again. Make love great again. I run with Mott.